Alrighty, let's check out something a little bit different in MechWarrior 5 clans. It's not different because this has been around really since MechWarrior 3. I guess 2 technically, but maybe. But really MechWarrior 3, and that is camo patterns for your battle mechs. And I figured what better mech to use than the Timberwolf Prime, the symbol of the clan invasion, Operation Revival, more or less time period in terms of the miniature game. One of the more iconic mechs in the whole Battletech setting. Looking at the Prime configuration, and we're going to go through all of the camo patterns I have unlocked in MechWarrior 5 clans on this particular save. I don't know if it's all of them, but I think it's definitely most of them, and it's all the ones you get from chassis milestones and whatnot. So we'll do that. We'll go for my customary signature look, if you will, for myself of a modified invasion, and we'll talk about that when we get there. But let's start with the Applejack. Applejack is a interesting one. I'm not going to go into every one and customize them necessarily, but I want to show you on the Applejack here. We can customize a maximum of 3 colors in any camo pattern, sometimes less and sometimes none at all, which happens really only in one case. But this means the silver parts you see here on this mech will stay no matter what we do in terms of customizing the Applejack. But it's not bad. One thing I will say is if you are unsure of a certain coloration or a certain scheme of a camo pattern, go ahead and mess with the colors a little bit. Mess with the colors and you might find that you like this pattern, but it was the colors that are throwing off. Sometimes we don't want unicorn vomit, other times you might want it. So definitely give it a look before you write off a scheme entirely if you find it interesting. Anyways, that's the Applejack. Not bad. Buccaneer. This is a very busy scheme, but very piratey, right? Obviously, that's the idea behind it. Not bad. Not something I would use. And I say not bad because it's different, right? It's bold. It has very much spray paint, rattle can, and paintbrush style feel to parts of it. So I appreciate that level of detail to it. But definitely not for me. The Cobra. This is an interesting scheme, and while it does say we can customize 3 colors, I'm going to be honest with you, at least on this chassis, I have no idea what we're customizing on the red. It shows it, sort of, right? When you play with it, it does do something, I just can't tell what. So I'm not entirely certain what's going on here. In any case, not a bad scheme, very, snakeskin-like, which is the idea, hence the name Cobra. So again, you can mess with the colors and really dial it into what you're looking for if this is up your alley. Default. While default is not actually default, in terms of when you get a mech, which is kind of funny, don't sleep on it. This kind of fresh from the factory look is absolutely super clean, and you can mess with it real quick and get yourself, results you're looking for. So you can really make this thing all one color if you wanted to, or do a double tap like that. And this is just really basic, really simple, blocked in colors, not really camo, but sometimes clean is best. And this is really sleek in terms of being super clean lines and everything, so very much sharp. So don't sleep on it, for sure. Even though it's kind of basic and says default, it just means it's the basic look, and you get to really kind of have at it in terms of coloration and be blocked in very nicely. Digital is as you expect, is digital camo. This is like a fall leaf pattern, I suppose, whatever you want to call it. You can do something in the spring, you can do something kind of urban-y or Arctic style, as well as by messing with the colors. Fractal. Fractal is unicorn vomit, but this is a great example of minor tweaks here and there. With white and black, you may have a really cool Arctic kind of camo look with Fractal. So if you like unicorn vomit, great. If you don't, hey, still give it a shot. You can see what's going on here. Now, one thing about Fractal and other colorations that you're going to see that are similar, if we wanted to, and we can do this with a lot of patterns, but one thing you can definitely do here is you can get a really nice fully one monotone color if that's what you're looking for the bulk of your mech. And this can happen with a lot of schemes, but not all of them. So you can take the unicorn vomit and make it super sleek, or you can mess with it a little bit and make your own kind of better version of it for yourself if that's what you desire. Hero. This comes on the Warrant version of the Timberwolf, and it looks nothing like the card, right? Like, the card doesn't prepare you at all for what the hero is going to be. It's not bad. It's not really for me. The coloration's a nice choice. Like, you can look at the code there, and you can use that if you like the colors. And of course, you can mess with it, but not for me personally. But it's not bad, and I think with some blocks and colors, you can make this really stand out for yourself. Not much to say on Hot Rod. It's exactly what it says on the tin. It has the candy purple. You can obviously make that black to make it like a barbecue black with the customary Hot Rod flames on it. You can mess with the flames to make them kind of ghostly blue flames if you want, or whatever. Really like this camo pattern for sure. It's definitely not camo, but that's just what it's called here. But it looks really good. Don't sleep on it. It's very customary Hot Rod feel for sure. And before we move on, keep in mind this is on the Timberwolf chassis. These patterns might look not so much look a little different, but they might apply the flames a certain way or certain other kind of emblems, if you will, a certain way on other chassis to fit it on smaller ones or to make it fill in the big ones nicely. So just bear that in mind. Invasion. I'm a big fan of the Invasion scheme. Ever since MechWarrior Online had this first come out, when they did the whole invasion of the clans in there, more or less for the PvP side of stuff, I really like this base look. It's what I use as the basis for my Smoke Jaguar scheme that you saw in the very beginning. You only can customize the two colors here, but it works really, really well. And I've been doing this since MechWarrior Online had this scheme first come out. I really, really dig it. So a lot you can do with this one. It just looks good in any mech. I just think it's definitely worth utilizing if you have it. But this is something you will have to either get the digital collector's edition for or pay extra for, which is unfortunate, but it is a very clean, snazzy look for sure. Metal. This is, I think, the only scheme that I'm aware of that I have unlocked anyway that you can't change anything about it. It is just what it is. Now, this kind of gunmetal look is very kind of what I call spec opsy, and that's something that I think could appeal to a lot of people. It's very clean, for sure, but kind of unique in that you can't mess with it at all. Not true for Mountain Lion. Mountain Lion is very different. You can obviously mess with it. You can change up the coloration. You can make it a cloudy day or something like that, but not bad. Your typical kind of trying to do real camo to a degree concept on a mech. Pretty cool. Franken, the Franken mech. This is very nice, you know, spooky, eerie. It's got the skeleton on it. You can adjust the skeleton, you can adjust the colors around it, and I rather like it. I wouldn't personally use it because I like clean lines really on my stuff, but very nice, very much something you could see like a squad leader using or like a merc unit or something using. So very cool there. The Platinum. This is a metallic scheme that you can mess with. The thing is that it takes whatever color you're doing and it metallicizes it or candies it. Is another way of thinking about it. Which isn't bad, but we'll just do everything red real quick just to show something here. That's all that will be affected by the palette for the camo spec. Everything else is going to be this really super bright, like white metal almost, which isn't bad, but if it definitely can clash with certain schemes that you're going for, and it would be nice if they all changed, but this is more or less what you get when you get the Platinum one. It's a metallicized coloration of the colors, which is pretty cool. Polygon, more kind of RGB unicorn stuff going on here. Unicorn Vomit-esque stuff, like it ate a bunch of RGB bulbs. But again, with really quick change up of stuff here, you can make a really sweet Arctic kind of look as well. So if it's too much of clashing colors for you, try out some other colors and you might see what's something you really enjoy. So that's cool. Raider, very clean right out the gate. Don't really even have to mess with this if you don't want to. It just looks super clean, super nice. And I rather like the asymmetrical nature of it. That's going to help it pop. Again, if you wanted, let's say, yourself as Star Commander to stand out, you could do something like this and then have a more uniform color for the rest of your star. Or your whole star could look asymmetrical coolness if you wanted to. I like it. While it is very cool, I do like a bit more symmetry on my mechs personally, but this is a great touch for sure. I think people like this one a decent amount. But sometimes it's not enough, right? Sometimes you gotta hit it with a razzle dazzle. Very festive razzle dazzle here. You could easily make this like a zebra or do some other type of two color combination that you enjoy. Uh, pretty, pretty basic, pretty straightforward. Razzle dazzle, polygon, and some other ones here we've seen in a multitude of Mech Warrior games. So it's kind of like tradition at this point. Funny little thing, Camo Spec Online, I think, is a painting guide to paint up miniatures in different camo specs. And some of this stuff has been up there for years as well. So it's not just in the computer game, but you'll see razzle dazzle and polygon style stuff in colors like this on actual mechs painted on that site, which is pretty cool. The Sherman, obviously inspired by some World War II-ish, based on the star symbol and everything else. Another one that you could easily just boom and have an interesting color going, combination going on there, or you can keep it with the red and the blue. I don't mind it, not something for me, but I think it's I like the chunkiness of the color swatches, if you will. So when you put them together, or whatever you do, one doesn't necessarily straight up overpower the other, and it's very obvious to see them both. But from the Sherman, we're going to go into some Smoke Jaguar specifics camos designs, if you will, camo patterns, starting off with the Alpha Galaxy. If this looks familiar, it should, because this is in the title screen. Now, I thought the quote-unquote canon look, if you will, for them was basically what we see, but with red. That's not quite red enough, but you get the idea. However, that could have been retcon. It could just be a case of, hey, we thought the yellow popped better on the game platform or whatever. I don't know. I was expecting red, but I do not dislike the yellow at all. In fact, I rather like it. It looks really good. Beta Galaxy. Eyes everywhere. This is actually Beta Galaxy's symbol, the two kind of predatory eyes. And it can be a little silly on some mechs or just really repetitive in others based on how the computer does it, in this game. But I like the pattern of the colors itself. And of course, you can mess with this, just like you can with Alpha Galaxy. You can mess with the colors to get this kind of patterning and more of your flavor, which is pretty cool. However, of note with the colors here is that you have the black, or the blue, the darker blue, and the yellow on the eyes. That takes us to Delta Galaxy. Delta Galaxy is rather unique because the weapon pods are not a more metally color, as you've seen on like Alpha and Beta. They haven't really changed colors, but on Delta it does. So if you were to customize Delta, you would actually have yourself the ability to make a like Iron Man looking scheme for yourself, which is kind of neat, right? Just as a quick random thing there. So if you're going for more of an Iron Man-esque vibe, you definitely can do that here with the Delta Galaxy. Epsilon Galaxy takes the spotted camo idea, makes it a bit more out there and obvious with some striping. I like it. The coloration might not be your style, but you can definitely take this and again mess with the colors and make it really pop for yourself. But I rather enjoy just the theming we have going on between all the Smoke Jaguar Galaxy colorations. Here is Shroud Keshik, very clean coloration, probably the most obvious one of the bunch because you start off the campaign after your time in the Hunter's Arc on Santander as being temporarily assigned to Sakan Weaver's Keshik, right? So you get to sport Shroud Keshik's colors, and this becomes the default for the entirety of the campaign. Every time you get a new mech, it's going to be in this camo pattern, not the default, which is kind of funny, but it's very clean, so I don't mind. And obviously you can mess with this and make a really sharp looking mech, for sure. Zeta Galaxy is pretty out there. I actually rather enjoy Zeta Galaxy's bold colorations. It's quite different from the rest and just really, I just think it's super cool. Not much else to say there. You mess with this color and you mess with the coloration within and also like the lining, as you can see, which is pretty neat. So I rather I rather appreciate this color scheme a lot, actually. It's pretty cool. From there, we go back to the generic stuff. Snowfall. Snowfall is what you'd expect. It's snowfall at twilight hour, more or less. The blue is a two-tone blue. The top blue is darker than the bottom blue, which is pretty cool. I actually prefer using fractal or polygon to do snow, or do like a Arctic style camo thing. But if you want like actual literal, hey, it's snowfall, here we are. But if you want to channel your inner Northwind Highlander mercenary group, you can do that with the tartan. Not my cup of tea, but it's definitely somebody's. So you can mess with that. A quick change or alteration of the coloration might help a little bit to get the tartan to pop if that's what you're looking for. Otherwise, you know, there it is. That's all I can say about it. Tiger is a classic look. I actually use Tiger and Mech-5 mercenaries for my merc group. It's a very solid looking camo pattern on pretty much anything. Not just mechs, but vehicles, aircraft, pretty much anything. Really like it. Not much else to say there. Urban block. If you want more of a blocky pattern and not so much a fractal or digital or standard style of camo, you got it in urban block. You can make this, you know, a bit more urban-y, a bit more, you know, nighttime, spec ops, quote unquote. Just use different colorations, maybe sub out the green or whatever, and you'll be good to go. Vagabond, I can't quite put my finger on what Vagabond reminds me of, but I'm definitely reminded of something when it comes to just like the thick outlines of the green and whatnot. Yet again, a scheme that if you were to mess with the colors here, you could probably make something look pretty cool if this is too bright and not quite your style. Virus takes that and runs with it because we have kind of a two-tone of the virus markings here. I don't know what else to call them, but I think it's pretty cool how it does that nature of, you know, of going between the two across the entirety of the mech. It makes for a very interesting visual appeal, and again, choosing a certain color combo will make it really pop. So that's pretty neat. And lastly is Woodland. It's your basic Woodland camo. Nothing too much to say here. Simple, effective. Somebody, I'm sure, will probably eat this up. It all depends on your style. So that's all the ones I have unlocked, which is every single chassis milestone one, I'm pretty sure, and I think from going through the campaign, I'm sure there's probably a couple I'm missing because I only play Crusader because Clansman Jaguar is life. But in any case, I'll end it on my custom invasion scheme for Clansman Jaguar. Very clean. I like it quite a lot, actually. But I pose you the question. What camo pattern do you really enjoy and maybe make use of, not just in this game, but in the MechWarrior games period? And how do you customize it if you do? Let me know in the comment section. We could always revisit this in the future once we get more camo specs. Once that DLC comes out with those skins, we can look at skins. And who knows? Maybe a different chassis will make one of the camo patterns pop better than another chassis, because that is also entirely plausible. Anyways, thanks so much for listening to me ramble on and doing a bit of a fashion show, if you will, on the Timberwolf for the camo patterns. I'm going to keep my Invasion Jaguar specific, but let me know yours in the comments. Thanks so much for taking the time to stop by, and until next time, take care.